Hey guys, Spider-Man27 here, bringing you Bleach chapter 535. Everything but the rain, op.8 Defenders. So the chapter begins where we see Masaki floating in a dark abyss, naked. Okay. We get to see a massive hollow mask, the same one as Ichigo's. We're finally getting some answers! And it looks like it was gonna eat her. We come back to Urahara, Isshin, and Ryuken. They're at Urahara's shop. And in this chapter, we actually get to learn why Isshin left Soul Society and never used his powers. But I'll probably have to explain this. According to Urahara, she is undergoing holification, which was actually the same condition that he has been researching for nearly a century. That's like about 100 years. And it was also the same condition that Shinji and the other Vizards were going through. So Urahara introduces himself to Isshin and Ryuken. Isshin immediately knew who he was, but Ryuken just doesn't give a crap, and he just really wants Masaki's life to be saved. However, according to Urahara, there was actually no way that Masaki can go back to the way she was. Now we actually get some exposition about what the holification is, and we get to learn a couple more things. So for those of you who don't know, holification is when a hollow soul is injected into a regular soul. When this is done, it blurs into the boundaries of the souls, making them really, really strong. And apparently Soul Society did this before. They injected hollow souls into the souls of Shinigami so that they could try to upgrade their powers, become even stronger. But because of this, the process failed because the Shinigami would end up unstable and they could never control it. And I guess the project was scrapped until, I guess, Aizen and Urahara. Seriously, the more you learn about Soul Society, it can be really messed up for what it's supposed to be a paradise. But however, this experiment, even though it's with its flaws, it never stopped Aizen, since we saw him turn the pendulum arc. And because of the results of the experiment, Masaki is undergoing holification. But there is actually a way to save Masaki's life. It's just there is no way that Urahara can bring her back to her former state. Whenever a hollow soul is injected into a normal soul, they would blend. They would, they would blend and mix into something that is an abomination, a beast. And because of that mixture, the boundaries between the souls will crumble and break, not only fusing the souls together, but affecting the exterior of the vessel. And the strain will be so intense that the soul will have no choice but to self-destruct. And that is called soul suicide. So eventually when the hollow soul will fuse with Masaki's soul and blend together to make her some sort of weird monster, I'm assuming a Vizard or something like that, her soul will eventually self-destruct and commit soul suicide and die. But Urahara did come up with a way to prevent the soul suicide. What he had to do was he had to inject something into the soul that will counteract with the holification process, basically preventing the boundaries of the souls to crumble. He made a vaccine which consisted of a Quincy's arrows and human souls, which was actually 100% effective to stop the soul suicide. However, it didn't actually stop the holification because, considering what we've seen so far with Shinji and the others, their souls can no longer commit soul suicide, but they are still Vizards. So if Masaki got the vaccine, she will still be holified and basically become a Quincy Vizard hybrid, which sounds pretty awesome when you think about it. And I really wish we could have seen a Quincy Hollow hybrid, but we don't. According to Urahara, there is actually another way to not only save her life and stop soul suicide, but also to prevent her holification and to let her live a normal life. Ryuken just yells out, "Bullshit!" I guess right then and there he knew what Urahara was talking about. But Urahara said that even though he does not agree with it, he has no choice in the matter. The choice goes to Isshin. Basically, they need something that not only strong and powerful and to counteract with the holification, but something that is a complete opposite of a Quincy and a Hollow. And the opposite of a Quincy is a Shinigami. The opposite of a Hollow is a human. Since Isshin was a Shinigami, they need him to become the person to prevent Masaki's holification. But they need the human part. Urahara created this special Gigai for Isshin to go into. It was made from human souls, and once he goes into that special Gigai, he'll become some sort of a human Shinigami hybrid. There are some cons from this planet, because once Isshin goes into this special Gigai, he can no longer see souls. He cannot access his Shinigami powers. He could break some serious rules in Soul Society, but most of all, he can never go back to Soul Society and live the rest of his life as a Shinigami. He would basically have to be with her no matter what, never going back. If Isshin does agree with this, then Urahara will make a special reishi string that will bind his soul with Masaki's. And they will be connected no matter what. He will actually never leave the shell once their souls are connected. And the only way he can leave from the shell is when Masaki's soul and the Hollow are free. So he basically has to be with her till death do us part. Before Urahara can even explain even further, Isshin is like, got it, let's do this. So basically he just agrees right then and there. He was actually okay with quitting his duties as a Shinigami, leaving Soul Society, leaving his friends and his clan. All this for Masaki. So I guess those who said that Isshin lost his Shinigami powers in order to save Masaki from the holification, you guys are right. Although I thought we were going to see him using the final Getsuga Tensho, and I guess that was how he lost his Shinigami powers, but then again, that doesn't seem to be the case. Urahara asked him if he has any regrets whatsoever once he does this. And Isshin is like, yeah, I got tons of regrets. But if I choose my regrets over saving the life of the person that saved my life, I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror the next day. So basically, Isshin would never forgive himself if he chose his regrets over saving the life of the person who saved his life. One thing that Masaki and Isshin have in common, they really want to protect others, even if it would cost them their life. Because knowing that if they cannot do this over some rule or some regret, then they would be incredibly disappointed in themselves. So once Isshin agrees, Urahara then starts the operation. Meanwhile, back in the dark abyss, Masaki is about to get eaten by the Hollow Soul, I'm assuming, but is saved by Isshin. I don't know what exactly he did. Maybe he cut the Hollow Mask. And then, but he grabbed onto Masaki. He does know Masaki's naked, right? For all we know is he might accidentally cop a feel. I'm just saying. So basically, the chapter ends with Isshin saying to Masaki, "Yo, your knight in shining armor has arrived." So that is Bleach chapter 535. What did I think? I actually thought this chapter was okay. I wasn't actually expecting Isshin to lose his Shinigami powers in that way. But then again, those who said that he has to lose his Shinigami powers in order to save Masaki, you guys are right, apparently. But then again, I mean, there was another option. I mean, one option is for Isshin to use this special Gigai to be with her no matter what to prevent the holification, because he's the complete exact opposite of Masaki. That, or use the special vaccine to stop the soul suicide but not be able to prevent the holification, making her a Quincy visored, which I really wanted to see what it would look like if they chose the other option. But I guess that wouldn't be the case, because they wouldn't want Masaki to live the rest of her life as some sort of abomination or something. No, actually, that's too harsh. Some sort of weird hybrid. I guess they would want her to live a normal life, and that, she never really deserved it. So now we're finally getting some answers. Now we know why Ichigo has the hollow powers, because Masaki was technically a part hollow. because of the hollow power she had inside her, it somehow manifested into Ichigo. Now it's starting to make sense. Now you also learn why Isshin never returned to Soul Society and why he lost his Shinigami powers. He was in a Gigai that prevented him from using his Shinigami powers at all and prevented him from seeing hollows. What does that explain for using Karin? I know that Karin can see souls and hollows as well, but what does that make her? Does she also have Shinigami powers? Does she also have Quincy powers? Does she also have hollow powers? Yuzu, I have no freaking clue because she cannot see hollows or souls. I guess eventually after like the operation, this might be, I guess, a win-win situation because eventually Masaki and Isshin, we know that they're eventually going to fall in love, and thus, you know, otherwise Ichigo wouldn't have been born. They would probably get to know each other and then start dating, but then again, there is still the matter to deal with the other Ishidas, and also the so-called arranged marriage. Of course, Ryuken doesn't approve of this, but then again, considering this is for Masaki's sake, I think he would be okay with it. Now, it still doesn't look like that the flashbacks are going to end anytime soon. Maybe we got like 1 or 2 more. I don't know, like, what are they going to continue with this? But if they are, I want to see like how the Ishidas are going to react or how Soul Society is going to react. I mean, are the 13 Court Guard squads gonna say that Isshin Shiba is like missing in action or killed in action or something like that? Or I mean, like, is Isshin gonna like fake his death so that nobody will know that he is now a human? Then again, we haven't actually seen, you know, in the present, aside from Urahara, that interacted with Isshin and knew he was a Shinigami or a Shinigami captain. So yeah, there is still some questions that probably still need to be answered, but we definitely know now how Isshin and Masaki met. We know about their connection. We know why Ichigo has hollow powers. And we also know why Isshin left Soul Society and never used his Shinigami powers for a really, really long time. We also know about Urahara's connection towards Masaki, and of course the connection between Isshin and Ryuken. Now we know that. But now that I think about it, since Ryuken and Masaki are cousins, that means that Uryu and Ichigo are also cousins? Cousins twice removed or something like that? I'm not really sure. Is Masaki really gonna be able to move on with her life? I mean, I don't know, like, how close that Isshin has to really be in order to prevent Masaki's hollification. I mean, I know that they'll eventually grow closer together because of this, but I mean, will she be able to live her usual life in the Ishida residence, or is she going to be cast aside as an outcast? All I know is that there probably going to be a couple more chapters as flashback. Maybe 2 or 1, depends how long this is going to take. So, yeah, that is Bleach chapter 535. I thought this chapter was okay. It was pretty good. So, yeah, I'm Lear Spiral 27, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.